Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to the Eddie Sutton Show. Since we last visited, the Cowboys were involved in 2 down-to-the-wire ball games, and no one knows better than that than Eddie Sutton. Cowboys won 1, dropped 1 on the road, and that's really been the scenario for most teams in the Big 12 this year.
Well, we defeated Texas Tech 66-63, and then we went on the road to Columbia, and the Tigers beat us 70-64. What I've seen thus far in the league, I don't think there's very much difference between a lot of ball clubs. Certainly between the teams that we have played, and and the ones that I've seen. Kansas is in a different league by itself. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean somebody's not going to beat them, but they're going to win the conference. But when I look at all the other ball clubs, there's just not much difference. And whoever goes out there and shoots the ball well, whoever goes out there and minimizes their mistakes, they're going to win. You know,
I think a figure that supports what you're saying is the road team this year has won 8 out of 21 times. And that, or you say, well, that's not a lot. But there were times in the old Big 8, 2 out of 21 times would probably have been a lot. So I think that supports what you're saying. Anytime you're playing, you've got a chance to win.
Well, it seems that way. And now we've got to regroup and play the Baylor Bears on Saturday, and then we have some time off that maybe we can correct some of the mistakes that we're making, because we don't play again till a week from Saturday when we host Texas A&M, and then we have to go back on the road and play the University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas, so it doesn't get any easier. For some reason, it seems to me, Tom, we're not playing quite as well right now as we did the latter part of December. We're just making a lot of sophomorish mistakes, just enough mistakes that can beat you. Plus, we're not shooting the ball as well. You know, we shot 35% against Nebraska and lost. We shoot 39% against Missouri and lose. And against Texas Tech, we won. We shot a little higher percentage. So shooting has a tendency to cover up for a lot of your shortcomings and camouflages some of the mistakes you're making. When you don't shoot the ball well, it just magnifies all the other mistakes.
Well, the Cowboys are 12-2 on the year, 2-2 in Big 12 play, and still in the thick of the upper division battle. We've got all the highlights when we return to the Eddie Sutton Show. Well, welcome back. 2 hard-fought ball games, as we said prior to the break. Tech, Missouri. But going into those ball games, Eddie, you know what you're getting into. Those are hard-nosed teams.
Well, those 2 teams are coached by 2 outstanding coaches, and you know that you're going to have to earn every point because they're both very good defensive coaches. Their kids play hard, and in the Tech game, they have probably the 3, if you're going to take 3 guards that play on the perimeter, they probably have the 3 best offensive guards that you'll see anywhere in the country. Corey Carr, in my opinion, along with Brewer at Oklahoma, are probably the best 2 off guards. And in Bonovich, Tech, wonderful passer, has unlimited range. And then the other young man that plays in their ball club that is extremely quick, Young. And when those 3 guys are on, they'll beat anybody they play. The other night they lose to Baylor, and Bonovich and Young did not shoot the ball well. Core had 35, but the other 2 I think were like 3 for 21 or something like that.
Tech did a good job in the first half in this one because they really controlled the scoreboard and never let us get away from them.
Well, James Dickey was my assistant for 8 years, and he certainly knows how to coach the game. And when you go on the road, you should play a little more conservative and handle the ball, put the home team on defense, get the fans back in their seats, and he did that. It's a nice shot by Chad Alexander.
The outside shooting, you talked about it the last couple of shows, really, and I don't know how it's like the free throw shooting. In practice, the balls go in. When the lights come on, they don't go in the last couple of outings. It has to drive you crazy.
Well, in this game, we made it very difficult for ourselves. This should have been a much easier game. We missed too many easy shots under the basket. When you have a shot under the hoop, that ought to be at least a 75% shot, and I think we missed 15 or 16 shots really very close into the hoop. And then our inability to hit free throws in the second half allowed Texas Tech to hang around.
And indeed they hung around, as you'll see as we get down the stretch. It came down to the last shot and executing down the stretch. But I have a feeling we're going to be talking about this all year long. No matter who you play, you're going to have to get it done down the stretch because, as you said, I don't think too many teams are going to run off and leave anybody.
Well, I don't think there's anyone in the conference that should run off and leave us. We ought to be in most of the games, and you know, mistakes made in the last 5 minutes are magnified because you don't have time to recover from them. Pete had a good ball game, hit 14 points. Desmond Mason had a double-double, 11 points, 13 rebounds. Brent Robish continues to play well, 17 points, 12 rebounds.
Well, there he is, wide open there as the Cowboys got him the basketball. Talk about Pete. Last couple of games, it's been a second half Pete out at Missouri, and we'll talk about that in a bit. He really carried the team. Big career-tying 27-point effort.
Well, at Missouri, we had 3 players that really played well offensively. I thought Mason and Robish and Peterson, and the other guys just didn't pick up the slack. But Adrian has become a much better basketball player, Tom. He has a tendency at times just to want to hang around and shoot the perimeter shot, and he's a much better player when he puts the ball forward and drives to the hoop, which he's doing much more. And then he's become a much better rebounder for us, which if he's going to play the number 3 spot on the team when we're playing 3 guards, he's got to be a rebounder.
Well, he's done that all year long, and that has been a constant. The rest of his game has been good, even when he struggled from the field.
There's a good drive by Doug Gottlieb, and at that time that was a big play because we were trailing.
Well, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty in this one, no question. You see the time and the score. This was a big play. 2 blocks on the same play. We come back down, get a conventional 3-point play, and really the race is on from here.
Well, this is
Mason.
Desmond very alertly picked that ball up, and that's one thing we did pretty well in this ball game. I thought we rebounded. We had 13 offensive rebounds to their 8, and Desmond got the ball here. Corey Carr tries to take a charge, doesn't get there in time. The official calls him for moving under Mason, and Desmond hit the basket and then converted the free throw.
And you could see it's coming right on down to it. A great follow shot right there.
Great hustle play by Peterson. He made a couple of big plays on missed free throws that tipped him in that were really, we wouldn't have won the game without him.
Mason,
good hustle play there.
You're going to see how kind of a hustle play. You had to take a seat here.
Yeah, almost knocked me over the seat.
Took a seat when you didn't want to. Now we're coming down to the last 29 seconds, as you see. You're going to send him to the line. Carr's going to hit 1 of 2.
Line. He's about a 90% free throw shooter.
Somehow you knew when he missed the second one that perhaps fate was on our side that night.
Corey led their ball club with 24. Young had 20 and Bonovich had 11. Those 3 guys are really terrific perimeter players, great shooters. Here they fouled Joe Atkins, and we had missed a bundle of free throw opportunities, but Joe calmly stepped to the line and converted both of these.
It was good to see him do that after last year, too. He said they reminded him on the line about missing the free throws in overtime at Lubbock, but he put that out. Now, what are you telling him? Timeout, Cowboys have the lead. You know it was going to come down to one of these guys to shoot.
Well, it's a 3-point lead with 18 seconds to go, and you know, there's some coaches would say go foul. I'm not. If there's less than 10 seconds, you got a 3-point lead and the ball's in the backcourt, you might want to foul. But at that point, you want to try to really maintain good defensive position, make them shoot a hurried shot, make them shoot a shot under pressure, and that's what we did. I thought the Carr was defended very well by Peterson. They threw the ball up, and if he hits it, he hits it. But I'm just not of the opinion that much time left in the game you ought to foul and put them on the line, because they hit the first free throw, they missed the second one, they got a chance to tip it in.
And you saw the Missouri game. We've gone to Columbia. You went to Columbia. You saw Tegans and I obviously didn't make it, and we were calling the game from right next door here.
I think it's bad luck when you guys don't go, because last year the same thing happened at Arkansas State. You got hung up in Memphis, and we lost that game. So we'll see to it that you guys get there from now on.
Well, I like that thought anyway. Goodness knows, I hate to be saying the other thing.
Good defensive play here. Good 2-on-1 break. They defended it well, and Gottlieb hit the trailer, Peterson, for an easy basket. Good defensive play by Desmond Mason. We got to do more of that, what we call run-through passes. We've got guys that should be doing a lot more of that than what we're getting done.
On the TV feed, it appeared that we were pretty alert coming out of the dressing room in the first 5-6 minutes.
We played very well about the first 5 or 6 minutes, and then we started making some mistakes.
This one here, big
great effort by Mason to keep the ball alive, and then Pete tipped it in.
You're hanging right with them now, hanging in the ball game. And anytime you go on the road, Kansas, Missouri especially, if you can keep from getting bitten by that big run by the home team, you got a shot.
Great pass by Gottlieb to Robish. We're down 7 at halftime. This series has been a great series. The last 4 games before last night had been determined by a total point spread of 9. And I think in the last 3 games at Missouri, they were all decided by 2 points or less.
That's exactly correct. And now the last 5 decided by 15. So you could see these two teams pretty much the same ilk. They get after each other, and everybody knows what's coming because there's no secrets between the way these two teams play. Great drive here by Gottlieb.
Norm Stewart, one of the outstanding coaches we have in college basketball, he recently won his 700th game, and he played for an outstanding coach in Sparky Stalkup, who played for Mr. Iba. So Norm and I both have come from the same school. Good, tough man defense, take care of the basketball, get your players to play hard, and I think that's the reason he's won so many games. There's Brett Robich's first tray of the year.
And he actually had another attempt as well that kind of went in and out.
Yeah, it sure did. There's Dave Robich and his wife Lou, Scott, and Brett's mother and father.
Let me ask you, the scenario of winning at Missouri has been the same year in and year out. If you have to have any opportunity to win, you've got to keep the Missouri Tigers off the free throw line, and they marched to the free throw line in the last 5 minutes of the ball game.
We made some, I thought, really dumb fouls. You know, those are sophomorish mistakes. We fouled Grauer, who's just a freshman, but he's a coach's son and a very fine basketball player, and he, I think, hit 5 out of 6 free throws. And we really didn't have to foul at that point. We got it down. We were, I think, down 2 points one time and 3 another. There's a good steal by Desmond. Great lead pass to Peterson. Now, you know, you're down by 2 points.
Anybody's ball game with less than about a minute and a half to go, and you're going to see Grauer is going to start making his parade to the free throw.
Well, Doug made a mistake there. He held, I mean, you know, you're down 2 points, make them make a mistake, and he's trying to deny the basketball, and there he misses one. It's a 3-point game, and great pass by Doug into Pete. Now it's a 1-point game, and you got a minute and a half to go. And we come right back, and I think this is where this is where Joe fouls. He rides Grauer, and you're only down 1. There's a lot of time. Make them.
The slightest of contact, however, but you're going to have to expect this.
When you get on the road, you're not going to get as many friendly calls as you do at home. You know, in the game with Missouri, they go to the line 33 times. We go 13.
We
actually outscored them by 2 field goals, but we put them on the charity stripe too many times.
And you see Grauer finishing it off right there. Cowboys with an opportunity, one more chance to get her done, and just could not overcome. Pete's going to hit a couple of free throws, and the Cowboys will drop this one. Let me ask you, Brett Robich played in this game with a groin pull, obviously not 100%, but for the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brett had foul problems to contend with as well.
Well, we had to take him out, and anytime we have to take him out of the game for very long, we're not the same ball club, because if you're going to grade players in our team up to this point, I really believe Brett Robich is probably graded out higher than anyone. And last evening, or when we played them earlier in the week, it wasn't last evening, that, you know, Hearnes is their center, and is really coming on and is a much better player than he was a year ago. 345 pounds, 6'11", tough to move around, and Brett did move his feet a couple times and did foul. But for the most part, he has kept out of foul trouble most of the season.
Well, it should come as no surprise to anyone that Desmond Mason really likes a good dunk. We're going to explain on this week's Off the Court feature, and we're back after these messages. Interesting statistic. 25 of Desmond Mason's 84 field goals this year have been dunks. And on this week's Off the Court feature, it's going to become obvious to everyone that Desmond likes to get a jump on the defender.
That's a great piece, and he's certainly a high flyer, a great athlete. And when you hit 25 out of 84 of your field goals on dunks, you're going to shoot a high percentage. He is the highest has the highest percentage of anybody on our team, 57%. He also, which is a little bit of a surprise, is the top three-point shooter at 36%.
He has to be one of the all-time great players that you've coached that played above the rim, I would think. Is he not?
Well, I had a lot of guys. You know, he's one of them, and he's fast becoming a very good basketball player. I've said this before. He has been a better athlete than a basketball player, but he really has made remarkable progress this year. But you look back at some of the players I've had some high flyers before, especially at Arkansas, but I'm really proud of Desmond and the progress that he's made this season.
Well, the notebook and another shot at number 600. That's all still ahead when the Eddie Sutton Show continues in a moment. Well, thank you, ladies. They, too, are having a great season, the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. Let's hit the notebook. Right off the bat, a new Cowboy in town.
That's Glennon Alexander, a young man who was the all-time scorer in Texas high school basketball. He attended the University of Arkansas, and as a freshman, he made the all-conference freshman team. This year, he was having a good year, and for some reason, Glennon decided to leave the Razorbacks. When he left, there were a lot of people trying to recruit him. It came down between the University of Utah and ourselves, and he decided he wanted to be a Cowboy, and we're really excited about that. He'll have to lay out the spring semester, fall semester. We'll have him this time next year, and he'll be a welcome addition. It
appears shooting percentages are down around the country. Is it a lost art?
I don't think young men work as hard on their shooting as they used to. I think oftentimes in the off season they go out and they play 3-on-3 or 4-on-4. And shooting is an art, and in order to become a great shooter, you have to spend a lot of time doing that.
We're back in the routine now, and that's good.
Well, we're back in the spring semester. I know our players were elated to see all of their classmates come back, and when you're in school, you can really have structured days. You know you have a certain time you're going to go to class, study, practice basketball, sleep, eat. And in the off season, or during the break, I think that was pretty hard on our guys. You know, it got lonesome up here. They were by themselves. So I think all of us are glad that the second semester has started.
Next test, Baylor on the road, and they are a hard-charging team right now.
Well, Baylor's a hot ball club. In preseason, they didn't win that many ball games. They had a winning record, but they're 4-0 in conference play, Tom. They got a great center in Skinner. I think their teammates have found out they better go to him. He was averaging 18 going into conference play. Now he's averaging 25. Be a tough test.
Well, again, the Cowboys are on the road Saturday, 3 o'clock tip-off in Waco. Back home a week from Saturday against Texas A&M at 12:45. Make your plans to be on hand. For Eddie Sutton and our crew here at Educational Television Services, Tom Dirato. Goodbye, everybody.